Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Leaked. Today we'll cover the premium Tier 6 medium tank that's likely signaling the release of the Czechoslovakian branch for the tanks. It is the Škoda T40 with the KWK-36. Now, if you haven't watched my previous leak video about the Czechoslovakian branch as a whole, I highly recommend you watching that video first because you get a better sense of where the designs are going with and how the designs shape the gameplay of these tanks. Now, the Škoda T40 was designed in 1946 alongside with the TVP BTU concept. Both of these tanks look very similar in designs but with very subtle differences. So these two tanks are TVPs, which stood for
Tank Všeobecného Použití,
which means Tank General Use or Main Battle Tank. The Škoda T40 was designed by the Škoda company, whereas the TVP BTU concept is designed by the
Vojenský Technický Ústav,
which is the Military Technical Institute of Czechoslovakia. So these two tanks look very similar, and can you tell me the difference? So here is the T40, take a closer look. Now here is the VTU concept. So yeah, the difference is very subtle. So these two tanks are like brothers in a sense because they share the same hull designs with 6 road wheels and 3 return rollers on each side. But the TVP VTU concept is a little bit more sophisticated and problematic as well. The T40 was meant to have a KWK-36 with a Schmotturm-like turret based on the Tiger II, as well as torsion bar suspension, so the engineers will not have problems with the schematic of this tank. On the other hand, the TVP VTU concept was very complex because it was designed to fit 88mm L71 with the curve-shaped turret that's hard to produce, and all of this weight puts a lot of stress on the leaf spring suspension. Later on, they decide to fit 105mm Flak 39, so it's not conceptually reliable. So what happened to the T40 as well as the TVP VTU concept? Well, these two tanks were not as reliable as the T-34-85s or the T-54s, and due to political and economical pressures from the Soviet Union, these two tanks never left the drawing tables, so that kinda sucks, but we now have them for the tanks. And here are the collision models as well as early renders for the Škoda T40. As you can see, this vehicle looks like a bigger version of a Škoda T25, the Tier 5 premium German medium tank, or looks like a sleeker version of a VK3001P, the Tier 6 medium tank before the Porsche Tiger. This tank carries the same gun, the 88mm L56, the KWK-36, without a muzzle brake. So here is the collision model. As you can see, the thickest armor is only 65mm on the front. That's not very thick. The mantlet is well sloped and could bounce a few shots, but the rest of the armor is pretty weak. The upper glacis is only about 40, so that kinda sucks. The side armor as well as rear armor is about 35. So don't play this vehicle like a heavy tank, it's a bad idea. Don't play this vehicle like a medium tank, it's also a bad idea. So this tank has no armor whatsoever. And here are the main stats for the Škoda T40. So it's a Tier 6 premium medium tank, which will cost you around, was it 3,000 gold or so? That's about right. Hit points is 700 hit points. Quite alright. 700 horsepower engine with 40 tons. So the power to weight ratio is 17.5, which is quite decent. Top speed of 50 km per hour. Reverse is 20, decently fast. Hull traverse is 38 degrees per second, with only 33.4 degrees per second on the turret traverse. The turret traverse is a little bit slow, but the hull traverse is alright, so this tank is decent in mobility. Terrain resistance is 0.76 for hard, 0.86 for medium, and 1.9 for soft. Above average, that's good. The view range is 370 meters, which is quite good. Radial range is above 700, so that's very good. Hull armor is 65 at the front, 35 at the sides, and 35 at the rear. Not that good. Turret armor is 65 at the front, 40 at the sides, and 40 at the rear. Also not that good. The gun is an 88mm L56, penetration is 132, gold ammo is 200mm, so gold ammo is above average than the standard, but penetration is the same as the Japanese Tiger I, so you know how that goes. Damage is 220. Rate of fire is about 9 rounds per minute. You can boost this up to 9.5 rounds per minute, or 10 rounds, I believe, with the gun rammer and vents. DPM is about 2,300 or so with rammer and vents. Reloads every 5 seconds, 5.9 seconds with the gun rammer. Accuracy is 0.36, which is quite good. Aim time is 2.4 seconds, which is average. Gun depression, however, is only 5 degrees, which kinda sucks. I think the VK3001P, the Tier 6 medium tank before the Porsche Tiger, has 8 degrees of gun depression with this exact gun. So yeah, the gun depression is to a fault less than the VK. That kinda sucks. Now let's compare the Škoda T40 with the VK3001P, the closest relative I can think of. Now the VK is obviously not as pretty as the T40, but has a little bit better armor because it's 75 at the front as opposed to 65, 115 for the driver hatch, and a bigger matlet to cover up most of the turret than the T40. So the armor protection is a little bit better on the VK, but not that much. Let's compare the other stats. So the T40 has less than average health by 60, so that kinda sucks. Has above average horsepower per ton ratio by 0.7, so that's good. Average traverse for the hull, so that's decent, but way better than the VK by 10 degrees per second. So this thing turns a lot better than the VK. Top speed is not as good as the VK, and below average by 2 kilometers per hour. So the VK is faster in a line, and the Škoda T40 is faster at turning a circle. Turret traverse is better than the VK, but less than average. So the turret traverse is not as fast, and circle strafing is also not as good, but it's better than the VK. The T40 has above average terrain resistance, so that's very good, and above average view range, so that's also very good. Armor is not that good. So let's compare the guns. It is the 88mm KWK-36, the same gun that's on the VK, so penetration is the same. It's below average by only 5mm. Damage is above average by 80, so very good alpha. Rate of fire is the same, with the same DPM as the VK, so these two tanks share the same gun. Accuracy is the same, but slightly longer aim time, so that's not that good, and not as good gun depression, so 5 degrees of gun depression in comparison to 8 degrees. So the Škoda T40 is like a VK3001P, but it has better circle strafing capabilities at the cost of gun depression and slightly longer aim time. And the final opinion about the Škoda T40 is that this vehicle is basically a premium version of a VK3001P. Now this vehicle does trade some aim time, some gun depression, and top speed for better traverse and terrain resistance. So this vehicle is better suited to circle strafing than the VK, whereas the VK is better at going in a straight line towards a sniping position and going hull down. So that's the main difference. Also, don't forget that the Škoda T40 is a premium vehicle, so it does make more credits and crew XP than the normal VK3001P. Now, is it worth the 3,000 or so gold for it? Well, if you like the Czechoslovakian branch, or if you're preparing for them, this tank is not that bad of a buy. Has very good alpha, very good DPM, and better mobility than the VK3001P, so you're not limited to a sniping position. You could go circle strafing with it. Now, the only downside is the gun depression of 5 degrees, so it's like Russian medium tanks or heavy tanks. Now, if you can't tolerate it because it's kind of rough for new players, this tank is not suited for you due to the armor being not that good. But if you can tolerate the gun depression and make it work, this tank is pretty mobile and does go circle strafing way better than the VK3001P. So, it's not that bad of a medium tank. Now, thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.